Brett Cooper, formerly of the Daily Wire, now an independent media fixture, released her first episode yesterday. And we observed something of two actually, media industry miracles. The first one is that her new channel had 800,000 subscribers before she posted a single video. Her first video is now up over 2 million views. The second miracle is that my beloved wife finally watched an episode of The Unusual Suspects yesterday.
Yay!
So, I've been on since episode 10. We're now on episode 111 or 121.
121, 22,
and
I think.
she finally got around to watching one because she was so interested in hearing about
so
Brett Cooper
funny.
stuff.
Wow.
So, for anyone who may have missed it a couple months ago, Ian Carroll came on the show and gave us a full breakdown of the Brett Cooper situation ahead of things actually playing out. I have a picture of the video thumbnail here that you can go back and find. It's, I believe, the most viewed piece of content on our channel.
Number one clip.
Yeah, fantastic video. Ian did a deep dive using some sources he had within the Daily Wire to talk about a lot of the things that were going on. And I believe it was like a day later, it all played out exactly the way he said. We don't have to watch this full next video, but this was the episode Brett posted. We can watch just like the first minute or two.
Okay.
Because it was a very brief thing.
Hey guys, some of you have heard the rumors online, and the rumors are mostly true. Today, December 10th, will be my last day hosting the comment section and working for the Daily Wire. It is not true that I am being forced out. It was my own choice to leave. And believe me, this is bittersweet. I have had the most unbelievable 3 years helping to craft the show, building this community, and telling stories and sharing the truth every day. Through the comment section, you all have made me braver, more articulate, more thoughtful, more hopeful than I could have ever imagined. And I'm grateful that we spent this time together. And I'm grateful that the Daily Wire gave us a platform to grow this community. But at this point in my life, I am ready to take on a new direction, both personally and professionally. This means new challenges and new endeavors, which I will share with you soon. As for the show, the comment section will continue with the Daily Wire. My producer, Reagan, is taking over as host of the comment section, and I wish her and the Daily Wire all the best. We have had 3 great years, and I'm proud of what we've accomplished together. Leaving the show and the platforms that we've built is hard, but I'm very excited for what's to come. Knowing that we have brought so many people together in laughter over these last 3 years means the world to me. I appreciate all of you, so let's chat again soon, but in the meantime, go touch some grass, kick some rocks, and we'll catch up shortly. And now, for some final thoughts from the God King himself, Jeremy Boring.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Mind you, so you guys know in Washington, we saw her in person.
And him, Ben
You-
Shapiro.
I was around. But dude, first of all, beautiful in real life. Amazing, energetic. She's so freaking cool. She was
Great
there with her
body.
husband. Oh, like
Easy.
so good. and
wasn't the only one looking.
Jeremy Boring, just that, bro.
Yeah.
Jeremy Boring, Ben Shapiro, Lex Freeman. It was just a weird.
Tim Pool. It was Tim Pool.
Tim Pool, too.
And
What a
it was
mix.
really interesting
Yeah.
watching them because Tim Pool and it was the Spotify event. It was like closed to the public, but it was like podcasters and then me. I don't know how I got there, but I tug along. And it was really interesting because you'd watch Tim Pool and you'd watch Ben Shapiro, and those two were on one corner, and they looked miserable. to be there.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
they
no.
were having the worst time of their lives. And then you'd look across the room and you'd see Pat. And Pat was like hosting court. He was laughing, joking. I went, well, there's a reason why we have the following that we have.
Yeah.
Because Pat says everything about our company. It's a bunch of underdogs who weren't really given a shot, but made their own way. They're funny. They're enlightening. They're entertaining. Like, we have that. Not saying that those guys don't, but looking at that party, I was like, those guys don't look like they're fun to be around
It's like
ever.
night and day. No.
And then it was really interesting watching Brett Cooper and Ben Shapiro. Most of the time, I was sneaking around just trying to see if I'd ever see those two together. The entire 2.5 hours that we were there, never once were they within 10 feet of one another.
Wow.
They
It was
weren't
so
looking in each
weird.
other directions. It was super interesting to watch the whole time.
And kind of, because I'll let you get into it, because I'm so intrigued of why would you want somebody like that to leave? Is it a money thing? And then they trained, like what Ian said, they train her friend to sound like her to just take over the channel.
Yeah, that gets really deep. And that's the
shit.
point I want to touch on.
Get
because
deep, homie.
as Brett just said, which, first of all, in that announcement video, she didn't post the video as just its own statement. She did it as the intro to a normal video where she's talking about Jay-Z. And then she immediately cuts to, here's a statement from Jeremy Boring. You'd assume that if everything is as good as is suggested, Jeremy and Brett would be next to each other, recording a video statement together that is released as a standalone thing. Not she does something in her studio, he's somewhere else filming a statement, and then they cut them together and drop it in a regular episode like it's no big deal.
But you know what this
that
is?
was what was a little weird.
They think that like this is them acting like the Daily Wire is bigger than Brett Cooper. Like they could just put anybody in and they'll run the
No.
exact same way. But like that's like thinking that the people that watch are just robots and will come back and like if you put anybody there. But you know, like I'm sure you're gonna talk about like they haven't even come close to the
Yeah.
views they used to
What's
get.
I mean, we-
sorry,
yeah,
what was
go ahead.
interesting watching that video back, because I watched it the second time, watching it back, you notice that she only smiles when she says things that are true. Like,
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys so much. The last 4 years have been amazing. When she's saying over to the God King himself, when she's saying my producer Reagan is taking over, there isn't a smile on her face as she's saying that. So she's doing everything she can through little idiosyncrasies to communicate what's true and what's not.
Is it wrong to say, but has
Good
anybody
point.
here ever found Jeremy Boring interesting?
No.
Every like
Well, I
his
think
name
there's a
is
reason it's
Boring.
his last name.
He came on the podcast to promote the movie that Daily Wire put together, and I got to be honest, watching the trailer, I was like, I wouldn't watch 2 minutes of this, but okay, it is what
He's
it
a
is. But
goober.
it seems like he tries to make himself the star of the network rather than actually. This is my own interpretation of the
That's
the
a very
events.
common interpretation, actually.
That instead of him boosting the talent that they have, it's he wants to be the talent. So then they can get rid of people like Brett Cooper, get rid of people like Candace Owens, and well, those people don't have talent. It's the geniuses behind the talent that people are watching for. But like you just said, they're not even coming close to the numbers that they had with Brett Cooper.
Yeah.
So as she said in her announcement video, her producer Reagan, who had stepped in to fill in for her periodically, which first is what got the rumors started, she was her producer and her best friend, maid of honor at her wedding. As of right now, Brett Cooper and Reagan no longer follow each other on social media. Every photo of the two of them together has been deleted from Brett's social media accounts.
for her.
And she no longer follows Jeremy Boring.
Good.
And it is very clear that this was not a happy, pleasant parting. And as it turns out, when people try to replace you with your best friend, tends to harm the friendship a little bit. This was a video that went around a little bit. We don't have the video just because I heard there was some copyright stuff where the girl in it was going after people for playing it. So we're just gonna do a screenshot. It's available on social media. This is producer Reagan's cousin, who put out a 9-minute rambling video talking about how much Brett sucks and how much Reagan's completely justified in everything, and there's no reason for
Yeah.
the bad blood. And funnily enough, the person I saw reacting to this was a guy named Amir Odom, who's Brett's best friend, and it was this. It's all back. It's a very dramatic thing over someone who's very powerful in media. I don't want to dogpile all over Daily Wire because when I was first getting into politics, the Ben Shapiro show was how I got ready for the 2016 election when I was like my second year of college. I just wanted to know stuff politically. They do a lot of great work, but there is also a lot wrong, clearly, with how they run that company. Because all you have to do is look at reviews and the amount of turnover they have in their employees and the things people exit that company saying about how it's run. And it really goes to show there is a huge problem, and it stems back to Jeremy Boring. I have a few people that I know very closely who used to work there who have come out saying pretty much the same thing. Jeremy will walk into onboarding meetings and tell brand new employees how much the job is going to suck and how quickly they're going to burn out and how painful it's going to be for them. But those who can stand up to the test will, be rewarded. But they almost never are.
Was he wearing makeup? Because allegedly, he wears makeup just to come to work.
I don't know. But
That's what Ian Carroll and them said that they heard. But go
yeah,
ahead.
but things like that, like it's all crazy speculation, but like data point after data point shows that there is a huge personnel management problem there. Ian's point when he was doing his report was that a lot of the falling out happened because Brett Cooper and Candace Owens are very good friends, which might be part of it because Brett has liked multiple things from Candace on social media talking about genocide in Gaza and stuff, and people are questioning that because, as we talked about during Rob's segment, a lot of people, no matter how conservative they are, have that 1/3 rail you're not allowed to touch.
Yeah.
But much of it, I think, and that I have heard on reasonably good authority, it comes back to money. Because Brett Cooper was making a huge amount of money on this wildly successful channel. I think last year she did like 1 billion views on her channel, which, to put in perspective, all of Valuetainment last year, we got 1.8 billion. That's an incredibly difficult thing to do.
Yes.
And it shows, we've had great channel growth. Brett had great channel growth. But the people were there for her. They weren't there just for the name on the channel. When they slotted in Reagan, the Reagan episodes would underperform. Now that Reagan has been there full time, they're not doing a fraction of what
And
they
they're
used
not.
to.
They haven't
Those
broken
people are
100,000.
gone.
They haven't broken 100,000 views in the
Yeah.
past
Good,
month.
guys, good.
Yeah.
Because the star is gone. Candace is gone. Nobody's watching Jeremy Boring, bro. And Ben Shapiro, I used to love, dude, his debates with young people and Piers Morgan, and it was all good. And then just everything became about Israel. You started firing people.
You know who's doing great with that now?
Who?
Because you remember Ben Shapiro's whole thing. He would go onto a college campus.
Yes.
He would debate ridiculous liberals. Charlie Kirk
took over.
Charlie Kirk is the new Ben Shapiro, and he is doing it
Times
better than
10
Ben
times.
Shapiro ever did.
Yes, I agree.
And
love
that the media landscape is realigning. And I think part of what made the Daily Wire successful was that they were able to tap into that youth audience, and then they perfected it with Brett, and then they got rid of her.
Well, you know what's beautiful though is that back in the day they would have been able to crush somebody like Brett. Like Hollywood had all the control; they had the distribution networks. Where if they didn't like how a star was acting, they could have gotten rid of them, made them disappear.
Oh, for sure,
But
you're done. Your career's
now,
finished.
Like this is the ultimate test though of like being able to have like power away from the industry. Like if you're
Yeah.
a star, because she announces her channel and instantly has 800,000 views. She
That's
had like
so awesome.
40,000 live yesterday, and then the new girl can't even get 40,000 total views on her videos.
Yeah, it comes down to like parasocial relationships. Like you actually form parasocial relationships with these creators that you consume, especially ones that you're consuming on a daily basis. Like you start to feel like you know them. You can't just slot in somebody else and expect it to yield the same results, you know? They call her the Cooper Troopers. The Cooper
love it,
Troopers
yeah.
all, rallied together, and I'm so happy how much success her first
And
video
speaking
had.
of the Cooper Troopers, the reason I brought up my wife earlier is because she is one of them. She would routinely watch every single thing Brett posted anywhere. And I've been doing podcasts for, let's see, it started in like 2019. So more than a few years. I think my wife has watched maybe 4 episodes of shows that I've been on. She promises now she's gonna start watching this more
Good.
regularly. So here's to hoping. But
Hi, Natalie.
yeah.
Hi, Nat.
Natalie.
We love you, Nat.
Hi, Nat.
She never missed a Brett Cooper episode. She'd be at the gym on the treadmill watching videos that she posted on YouTube and everything. As soon as Brett was no longer on the channel, she unsubscribed and never watched another video. Good. As soon as Brett dropped that video, she was one of the 40,000 watching live. I get a text as soon as it ends, babe, I don't know how to tell you this. I just spent $85 on Brett Cooper merch. I'm like, well, yeah.
There it is.
She has a Cooper Trooper hat, an autographed poster, a phone
she has a
case.
phone case.
Yeah,
I
like
wanted to
she
get that
has all the, like she
remember
loves
seeing
this
that.
girl, and that is why I think Brett was so successful. Because Brett doesn't have crazy unique opinions that you wouldn't get anywhere else. What she was crazy successful at doing was bringing it to audiences that would never watch any other content. People like my wife and Gen Z specifically, of people who don't like to watch traditional news media, would go to someone like Brett, who has great meme reactions and was able to deliver a reliably conservative take, but in a new and unique way. But back to the Jeremy Boring thing. This was a video he posted a little while ago addressing some of the issues surrounding Brett's new
I've
move
never
as
seen that.
Oh, this is
independent.
funny. I've seen it. It's funny. He
What
seems so
nonsense.
frustrated.
You should always be making yourself take steps to make herself better and better and better, and I'm sure perhaps Reagan will as well. But what Reagan hasn't done is taking her like Brett Cooper. That is just completely absurd. A little bit that Brett hasn't done more Reagan. You know, Brett chose to leave the show. It was her stated desire to leave the show and to leave the company. Did Reagan
Audio
to
got
me
screwed up on that one a little bit.
before she had personally recommended Reagan to me and told me that Reagan would be a great person to consider to host it and that give something to Reagan because she should be on it. And the audience, whenever Reagan was the comment section, the audience loved her. The comments were,
Okay,
in fact,
we
many
can
of the
cut
things that
that
are
out
now
if the video's not
criticized.
I'm
working.
getting annoyed.
But basically,
he looked down every time he said something that seemed like a lie.
yeah,
annoying.
the whole thing felt extremely canned, like he was delivering prepared talking points. What he was saying was that they never gave Reagan acting classes so she would act like Brett, which I don't believe at all.
No.
But what he also says, it hurts my feelings a little bit that Brett hasn't spoken up to defend Reagan. Well, you know what, Jeremy? Facts don't care about your feelings, as we've established. So why would Brett speak up to defend this person she's no longer friends with, who stole her job? So I encourage everybody, go watch the Brett Cooper video. It's really good. She doesn't dump dirt all over Daily Wire. It doesn't come up at all. It is just a straightforward discussion of a completely different subject. It was classy, and like she's not sitting down to hype up drama. She's just doing her normal thing on a different channel. So props to her. I think we're all looking forward to seeing what she's able to produce, doing a valuable job here. So well done.
What before we end, what if you had to guess, what do you think what was the thing that Ian said that was the reason that she's leaving?
what Ian was saying was that a lot of it had personal differences with Jeremy because Brett and Candace are friends. But what I have heard and it seems to be correct is that it's a money thing where Brett knew how much revenue she was bringing in, how many views she was bringing in. She knew her worth. She came in on probably like a pretty standard talent contract. There's a reason I think all this happened right at the end of that contract. During renegotiations, she said, I believe I should be paid what I'm worth. I believe my team should be paid what they're worth. And Jeremy is a notorious cheapskate on these things. Do you remember during the whole, remember during the whole Steven Crowder thing? The whole Steven Crowder incident? Crowder kind of acted like an ass during that thing a little bit too. But one of the things he got when he recorded Jeremy talking was that, you know, we bring people in and they wage slave for us for a few years. And he reemphasized wage slave. Jeremy will deliberately underpay his talent because it's a privilege for them to be involved in the Daily Wire. So I think Brett knew her worth. I think she was trying to build something significant. She just got married. Her contract was up. She said, give me and my team what we're worth. And Jeremy said no. So she said, all right, we're out.
Massive
the only
mistake,
people
though.
that don't work for shitheads in like the entertainment content company, because like when you look at even Steven Crowder, I like Steven Crowder, but then you hear about Dave Landau and his split and the weird rules and the weird ways that they fucked with Dave Landau as the co-host of that show, and it makes me just go, man, Steven Crowder's a shithead too. Then I look at Daily Wire and I go, shitheads. And I go, are we the only company that we actually like the guy that we work for and he pays us a decent living wage and he respects our hard work instead of tries to underpay us and act like, well, you're just lucky to be here.
It feels like that because the guy that we work for has a vision and has like his ambition is what? Is America, as the future looks bright, it's about keeping this nation and his kids in the future. These people don't think that, these people are just about money, Rob.
And what's great about our leader is that our leader even says, I need to be pulled back and not be the star in order for me to focus on growing this, where it seems like the person who should be focused on growing the Daily Wire, Jeremy Boring, instead of focusing on that, he focuses on himself, tries to make him the star. When you actually have a star that steps back and goes, no, I need to focus on growing this so everybody can be stars, as opposed to a guy that's supposed to grow it and focuses on making only him the star. That's why you see talent leaving, views are down. I got to imagine revenue is also down. Are there a bunch of people buying the Jeremy's razors?
Yeah.
Is that going to make up for the billion views that you lost?
And a final concluding point here.
There's like no female stars like that out there, though. It's crazy. They have like Candace Owens and Brett Cooper go within one. Like who
and
else
Amy Dangerfield.
Who else is even close to them though? Like you know, from
there's nobody in that space that's
and they had
close.
both of them. That's crazy.
No.
So what that means, though, is that there's an opportunity now for somebody to rise above and take over the spot that both of these ladies now have left. Not at the Daily Wire, but in that sphere.
Guys, that being said, me and Amy, I'll just say it. Me and Amy are leaving. We're gonna go on Bryce Mitchell. We're going to Bryce Mitchell. We're gonna go to Arkansanity.
The entire chat,
white woman, me and you, we're gonna have an accent.
Chat always thinks that you guys are dating or married. It's so interesting. Every time I read the chat, they're like,
Amy, just look at my eyes.
Yeah,
they don't know. They don't know.
No, but
They don't know.
in a final concluding point here, funnily enough, there is now new drama kicking up, which is drama that shouldn't be drama for anyone who's been paying attention. Matt Walsh just did a whole video. Like he's probably the top talent now, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm a big Matt Walsh fan.
That's rough.
I'm a big Michael Knowles fan.
Yeah,
But
very socially
in terms
awkward.
of what he's able to produce, because you look at a lot of other Daily Wire documentaries and stuff, their films did not do great. Matt Walsh made What is a Woman, then Am I Racist? He's backed movements that turn into Supreme Court cases. Like he is a real powerhouse over there. And he reiterated a point he has made consistently for like a decade, which is I don't believe in foreign intervention and foreign aid to any country, including Israel. And now suddenly people have picked up on like, whoa, Matt Walsh is talking about Israel. He's going to get fired now. There's no indication of that. But I wouldn't be surprised if maybe those cracks started to form, but right now there's no indication of that. And
They won't have a company left.
we wish them all the best because you know what? For as much stuff as goes on, they do good work on things, and they're another voice advancing, you know, pro-America, pro-conservative stuff. So all the best to you guys over at the Daily Wire. Hope you're able to figure it out and don't lose your top talent.
Yeah. So if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.